before, we would just come and we would leave. But when we started serving, we started knowing the people we serve with. We started building connections. We started having people we cared about. And that's how we grew closer and we had this awesome church family. Yeah.
Serving is definitely a good way to get you to think about others first.
Jesus cares about them too, so you're kind of just giving them that example of what his love feels like.
Is like super encouraging to know that you have other people in your corner.
God will provide you with whatever comes your way. Wherever your feet are is where you're planted and where you will prosper.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Fridays at First. We have a special podcast for you this week. My name's Jordan.
My name's Braylon.
I'm Bentley, guys.
And I'm Garrett.
And we are student leaders here at the youth group, and we are going to be doing the podcast this week. Just to start, so when did you guys first decide to start serving, and what motivated you to take that step? I feel like something for me, it was always like my family has always been super involved. And so it was just kind of like the way my parents led me into that, and then my older siblings. And like, for example, VBS, obviously my family's been super involved for a long time. So it was just as soon as I was able to, I wanted to get into it and start serving. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of just, I think the family influence and then also just being in it, like leading up to it, helped a lot.
Yeah, my family was the same way. I was just mostly a participant up until really beginning of middle school, because I went to my grandparents' church and I got to see like how the church runs and how much like time and effort it takes to run everything. So then when we moved on, I started helping in like kids ministry and helping serve people at like banquets and stuff like that. So just kind of seeing like how much work it takes to put on these things was just kind of mind-boggling at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, serving is a really good thing. So I'm glad I get to do it.
I'd say for me it'd be around like my 7th or 8th grade year. I'd say it was like, it was newer for me, and my family, we go to different churches, but I was like, okay, I like this church and I think I want to stay here. And so like I would hear about these new opportunities, and so that's kind of what like sparked my interest, and I was like, okay. And then when I went and got to meet those new people, get to share similar experiences, it really got me more interested.
Yeah, for sure.
Ours is just my family. They raised us to try to help however we can, so we just showed up at one of our church events. It was Easter one time. And ever since then, it's kind of been impossible to get us out of the church. We're kind of just always here. But we always want to do whatever we can to help, and that's where that comes from, is just being servant-minded towards others.
Yeah, and I love that mindset of just like always wanting to serve. I feel like that's like one thing that we're called to do. We might even touch on that later, but yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with going to church all the time.
Yeah,
so.
Right. Yeah,
it's so much fun.
Yeah,
we should probably have an apartment somewhere, church
places to sleep. All right. So why do you believe that serving is an important part of following Jesus, not just something that Christians add on to it?
So I think like the biggest thing with like what sets Christianity apart is that like instead of just like some higher like authoritative being just like telling a people group what to do, what Jesus did is he went and demonstrated it himself. So instead of just saying, hey, you guys need to go serve other people, he like showed it himself. He went to the places that like no one else wanted to go. So I think that an important thing with imitating Christ is also serving others like he served.
Right. Yeah, he says he comes to serve, not to be served. So I agree with that for sure.
That's what Mark, it's somewhere in Mark. I've memorized that from VeggieTales.
Oh, yeah.
VeggieTales.
I definitely think that serving is very meaningful because it not only like shows others kind of like what you are like doing for him, but like that you like care about them actually as a person, and like Jesus cares about them too. So you're kind of just giving them that example of what his love feels like, but from like another human standpoint.
Yeah, I like that.
It's just really important from a lot of aspects, like the following Christ thing, being the example of him, and just growing closer to people through serving is how we actually got connected in the church. Again, before we would just come and we would leave, but when we started serving, we started knowing the people we served with, we started building connections, we started having people we cared about, and that's how we grew closer, and we had this awesome church family now.
Yeah, I love that. I think the like living as Jesus was like is a big part of that. We're not just like called to follow the rules per se, but to live just as he did, I think is like the biggest role that we can play.
Yeah, you're not called to just go bare minimum and keep it at that. So
Yeah. All right, moving on. Can you share a moment when serving made a meaningful impact on someone else?
Okay, so in the winter, we went caroling, and we went to these people's houses, but most importantly, we went into nursing homes. So we got to go in there and then sing to these elderly, and they absolutely loved it. And it was just like warming, because it was like they probably don't get to see younger, like especially youth, because we had a lot of kids with us, and then like teenagers doing this, and so I just thought that was cool, and I think they enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I remember when you guys got back from that, saying how much like they loved it, and just like it just lit up their world for a little bit. I think that was awesome.
I have a similar experience with like we didn't do caroling at an old folks home, but my grandparents' church, what we would do is we would go to one and just sing like hymns and just like play Christian music and stuff, and just hang out with the people there. And I think it's really sad just how like a lot of them are like wanting like people to be there for them. I think that's another reason why I really like serving, is because you can be there for other people. Like they may not have like people in their lives that like really care about them or want to go visit them. So I think that it was a really cool thing just to see like how you can encourage them as well.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, one Easter I learned how to do animal balloons for the children. Right, just 2 weeks of YouTube. Anyone can do it. This idiot learned. But one of the biggest things was just getting to see the children smile. But it wasn't just that. One of the big things was the kids coming and seeing them. These were new kids who hadn't been in church before, right? And some of them came back to like the Kingdom programs the next week, and just getting them. And some of them now come to our church regularly, and that is just a huge, huge blessing. If just it brings people to Jesus when we live like him, and it's just so meaningful.
I agree. Kind of going off of that, the things that we do in our children ministry, like the outreach we have there, it reaches a lot of people. Like I didn't even realize until maybe even this week with VBS and stuff, it reaches not only the children but the families, and it starts to get them like plugged into the church. And I think that is like just so cool how like even just children's ministry can reach whole families and start to get them to like come to church and stuff like that. My example, the first thing I thought of was we had a youth community service day, and I don't remember, Braylon, you might have been the one that was there, if any of you guys, but we went to this lady's house and was moving furniture around for her and stuff. Yeah. So, and that was just like really cool because she wasn't able to do it herself, and we just moved things around for her and kind of cleaned some stuff up, and it was just a great way just to see like how she reacted to that, and she was so grateful for us. And I think that's just a great way to kind of start get into serving and really show you like how impactful it really can be. Anybody else have anything on that question?
Next question, boss.
Okay. How has serving changed you personally or helped you grow in your relationship with Jesus?
Again, a big one was I always have loved helping people, but one of the things was I was very shy, I should say, and I didn't like want to get to know people. But by doing these things and like seeing how it endeared me to other people, and I saw other people doing the same things, and we just grew closer by doing it together. That's been a big change for me, is just coming to get to know people, you guys especially, and just how it's just been a big thing, you know?
Yeah,
I was pretty alone at one point.
I was gonna say, I mean, in the best way, I agree. Like, I've seen you come out of your shell a lot more since you started serving. Like, it's kind of hard to remember, like, when you guys first got there, but I remember you sitting there, like, with a book. But the way that you've kind of come out of your shell and, like, you're interacting with the kids a lot and energetic, and that really is great to see.
Probably the biggest thing that I've grown by serving is like learning how to be more humble, because like I'm putting other people above like my own like interests and stuff like that, and like just putting an effort to like show them that I care about them, and then also putting them before me, and then also the sacrifice aspect, because I'm again putting in time and effort when I could be doing other things, but doing them for others as well. I think those two are things that a lot of people need to learn, because I know there's so many people who don't want to sacrifice anything they don't have to for others, and that just only care about themselves. Which I'm glad that that's one way I could have grown from that.
I definitely feel like serving has like helped me grow in like seeing the bigger picture, and not just kind of like what both of you guys said, like focusing on myself, or just like focusing on what I could be doing or what I should be doing. And instead it's like open up my mind to, oh, like what do they need? What can I help them with? Like what can I do to help?
Yeah, I agree. That's something like I think I've been learning recently, like about like kind of being selfish, even in my faith, is like thinking about me more than I think about other people. And serving is definitely a good way to get you to think about others first. And we've talked about this in youth recently, like loving others first and putting their needs before yours, and then coming back and then talking about like your needs, because you do have to have a balance of both, for sure. Something I think has helped me, that it has grown in me, is just learning how to love others outside of like church and stuff better. Kind of like going off of that, like not thinking just about myself, but just like putting them first, and just remembering like how to love them better, like Jesus would in certain situations, versus just like how it would have been selfish or whatever before.
I think a big thing on the big picture thing is when you see just how many people it takes, just in a church for one event, how many people are doing all these different things, it's very, very encouraging, because you see this person's doing this person's getting up at the break of dawn, this person's staying up till midnight. It's just mind-blowing, and it's like no one would just do this for themselves. There's gotta be a higher reason here, and it just points to Jesus even more for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like that. Kind of reminds me of like when you go to a Christian concert and you're like, wow, we're all here worshiping for the same reason. It's kind of like the same thing. We're all serving for this greater purpose, and I think that's just a really cool thing.
For the record, I'm not saying, don't worry, folks.
Okay. Anything else?
I think it's also great that like just not only serving, but just like coming together as like a faith family is like super encouraging to know that you have other people in your corner. Because like I know it's really easy to sometimes feel alone in your faith, or just in general feel alone, like nobody's there for you. But we shouldn't lose sight that we have both God and then other believers around us that care for us and are willing to help us.
Yeah, that kind of goes into that community aspect. Like we were made to have a community and serve with others, and also be served by each other. So it's like we can serve others, but also they're there to serve us whenever we're in our own time of need as well. I think that's cool. What would you say to a student who thinks they are too young, too busy, or not gifted enough to serve?
God will provide you with whatever comes your way. Wherever your feet are is where you're planted and where you will prosper.
Yes.
The devil will always work, and you'll always have a reason not to. I think that's the biggest thing. You'll always have a reason not to. But once you start, he can't stop you. Not really. That's the biggest thing. It's hard to start. Once you make that first step, it's so much easier.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's important to think about God uses the people who don't think they're good enough. Like Gideon thought he was too weak. Moses thought he couldn't speak well enough. And we can see God uses all of these unlikely people to accomplish great things. Like David, one of the youngest in his family, and he ended up becoming a great king who was described as a man after God's own heart. So I think it's important to think about, even though if you may not have like what you think is like the perfect skill set for serving God, but it doesn't matter what you have, it just matters what God will give to you.
Yeah. One thing that comes to mind, which I think Nick has talked about before, is not being able but being available, making yourself available and going and like listening to what God calls you to, and then letting God enable you to do that. You don't have to worry about if you think you're able or not able. You have to just worry about being available wherever he calls you to. So, what is some highlights from us? We're all serving in VBS this week, so what are some highlights that you guys think from this week have noticed?
Ooh, put us on the spot there.
I'm gonna have to think about this.
I could say just seeing the kids' faces light up whenever they see you, or whenever you go and greet them in the morning and you're like, hey, how's your day, or whatever, you guys excited, and they just get so excited and that bright look in their eyes or whatever, they just, it's so impactful just listening to how they see it and are just so excited just to be here and to be around us. We really do have a big impact on those kids' life. I remember when I was little in VBS, my youth leaders were the best people on earth. I just wanted to be around them all the time. And so I think to now be able to be that person is just such a cool thing.
Yeah, probably. I'm the one walking around because I'm the photographer. So I keep walking around and there's just these random kids will say, hey, can you take my picture? And then when I take it and show them, it's so funny just to see how happy it makes them. And just getting to talk to these kids and just see what they're doing this whole week. It's just really cool to see.
Yeah.
I think for me, seeing the way that some of these teachers are serving the kids, the crash that some of them do, how much time some of these people put into it. I was helping one lady carry stuff from her car, and it was crazy how much she cares and how much she loves on those kids. It's extraordinary. It just gives me a big smile, and I can't stop all day once I do see something like that.
Yeah, I'd say those kids are just so positive in everything they do. So no matter what, they're gonna make you smile, and that just it makes you have more of a positive mindset, and then you can have more fun while being a leader or a teacher.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's all I had, so.
Oh, we're kind of back into a corner here.
A little early, but that's okay. Anybody else have any other thoughts on serving? What that means?
You can cut this part. We can openly, thank you for a second.
One thing that I forgot to say earlier. So, I am gonna try and pursue youth ministry after I graduate, and the biggest thing that encouraged me to do that is after serving in kids ministry when I was, I think, just out of elementary into middle school, I started serving in kids ministry, and after going through middle school, I think it was freshman year that I really realized I wanted to be the person that I wish I had through middle school and my young teenager years. So for me, going into youth ministry means just being a mentor, someone to help others not make the same mistakes I did.
Yeah, that's cool to think about, being that person to somebody else, kind of like I was saying earlier, how mine were such great role models, but you wanted to be that role model to somebody. I think that's cool to think about.
I think something that's important to realize is that we won't be teenagers. We won't have this the rest of our lives. We won't have the same connections that we do now because we have so many places that we can minister now. And a lot of us are I'll get to it when I'm older. I have time right now. I'm going to focus on school, right? But really, now is the time that we can work and we can serve. We have nothing else on our plates. We don't have to work. We don't have to pay taxes or anything. Now it's just, we can buckle down. We can work. We can do hard things. You know?
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like we talked about at camp. It's having your fields, which basically is anywhere you go, whatever like group of people you're around is your field that you're called to cultivate. And so it's kind of like you're saying, like, no matter what we're doing, we do have that time and the ability to like go and like minister and serve to those people, like you were saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, stop getting caught up in like worldly drama or worldly distractions and be more focused on like the bigger picture, like we're talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
Like one thing I've noticed is that the more that I've like kind of gone away from like the music I listen to, I've noticed that like my mood is better when I listen to like Christian music, and when I try and surround myself with things that are positive and that glorify God. I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people struggle with, is glorifying God in all they do. Not just I'll go to church and I'll glorify Him there and do the good stuff there, but then just not care throughout the week, which was my biggest problem for a long time. So
yeah. I think kind of like going off that, like not glorifying in all that you do, people don't realize you can serve at any time, anywhere. Like it doesn't have to be like a week out of the summer that you take. It's like any time, whenever you're around other people, you can be serving them, whether it's through a big act of service or for just being there for them. Any way possible is like serving them. So I think that's good to think about.
The biggest thing about leadership is our influence. Everything we do, everything we say, everything we don't do, everything we don't say, it affects the people around us. It affects our testimony. We're Christians. We're being watched. If people know we're Christians, they're like, what makes them different? Why do I need this thing that they call salvation? What sets them apart? And if they see, hey, this person seems so happy for no reason, or they're willing to do so much for other people when there's absolutely nothing in it for them, it just, again, points to Jesus.
It is really interesting to think about how much like Christian people are watched by the world. Like, I mean, a lot of times they're waiting for us to just mess up or whatever, but also like they really are watching and they do notice the things that we do.
And I think like glorifying God can even be, like God can use it as the seed. Like I know that like at my workplace, I've had people come up to me and say like, Are you Christian? Because I can tell you're different. It's like it's something that I didn't really like think about until after it happened. Like, oh, people are actually like looking at like what I do and how I do it. So
Yep. I agree with that. I noticed. I will say with that, like so people will come up to me and be like, mostly on my softball team, but they'll be like, oh, you're so nice or whatever, like you're just always so kind to people, you're so sweet, and they're like, how are you so nice all the time? And I think a good way to point them back, which I've only just started doing myself, is like it's because of Jesus and what He's done for my life, because I used to not be like that. I used to just like shrug it off or whatever, but I realized it's like that's a great way to point people to Jesus, and it's like He did this for me. It's the only reason I can be the way that I am to you people. So.
And that again goes back to the humility aspect, giving God the glory for what has happened in your life rather than just taking the credit.
Right, sure. Okay, well, I guess that might wrap it up.
I'm dying. Yeah, we're done.
Bentley.
Still
We're
choking on
signing
that
up for
water.
now, possibly forever.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, thank you all for having us, and make sure to tune in next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.